In the quiet village of Eldamere, where cobbled streets twisted like ancient roots, and the sea whispered its secrets to the cliffs, 12-year-old Finn spent his evenings exploring. He was drawn to the abandoned lighthouse that stood tall at the edge of the village, a lonely sentinel against the endless waves. For years, the villagers spoke of its eerie silence, how no light had shone from its tower in decades, how its doors remained locked, and how even the bravest dared not venture inside. Finn had always been curious about the lighthouse. His grandfather had told him stories about it, tales of shipwrecks, of lost sailors who once followed its beacon, and of a strange, golden lantern said to be hidden within its walls. But those were just old stories, or so Finn thought. One fateful evening, just as the sun dipped beneath the horizon, something changed. A golden light flickered from the highest window of the lighthouse. Finn froze mid-step. His heart pounded. No one had used the lighthouse in years. Had someone gone inside? Was the lantern real after all? He had to find out. Clutching his own small lantern, he followed the winding, overgrown path leading to its rusted door. As he pushed it open, the hinges groaned like a sleeping giant stirring from its slumber. Dust swirled in the air, carrying the scent of salt, wood, and time itself. Inside, the room was dimly lit by the last traces of daylight filtering through cracks in the walls. At the very center of the space, standing atop a wooden pedestal, was a peculiar lantern, unlit yet glowing faintly from within. Its metal frame was inscribed with symbols Finn couldn't understand. And beside it, an old man sat in a wooden chair, his eyes twinkling like stars. The Guardian's challenge. "You're the first to come here in many years," the old man said, his voice as steady as the tide. Finn hesitated. "I saw the light. What is this place?" The man gestured toward the lantern. "This holds an ancient flame, one that can guide, but only if its bearer learns the true nature of light." Finn frowned. "What does that mean?" The old man chuckled. "To ignite the lantern, you must complete 3 tasks. Each will teach you what true light is. Are you willing?" Determined, Finn nodded. "I'll do it." The 3 lessons. Lesson 1, the light we share. The next day, the old man handed Finn a bundle of candles. "Your first task, give light to those who need it." Finn walked through the village, unsure at first who to help. But soon, he noticed things he hadn't before. An elderly woman sat in her dimly lit home, barely able to see as she worked on her embroidery. A fisherman struggled in the dark, preparing his boat for an early voyage. A young girl clung to her mother's hand, afraid of the shadow stretching across the marketplace. One by one, Finn gave them each a candle. And as he did, he saw something remarkable. Their faces brightened, not just from the flame, but from the kindness behind it. The fisherman thanked him with a rough clap on the shoulder. The young girl smiled and said she wasn't scared anymore. When Finn returned to the lighthouse, the old man nodded approvingly. Light is not just seen, it is shared. Lesson 2, the light we follow. For the second task, the old man led Finn to the cliffs at sunset. Your next lesson, follow the light without fear. As the sky darkened, Finn noticed a distant lantern bobbing on the waves. "A ship!" he gasped. "It is struggling," the old man said. "Would you brave the sea to guide it home?" Finn's breath hitched. He had never been far out in the water before, and the idea of venturing into the unknown filled him with doubt. But he swallowed his fear and climbed into a small rowboat paddling toward the flickering light. The waves were strong, crashing against the sides of his boat, but Finn focused on the light ahead. At last he reached the ship and signaled the sailors, leading them safely toward the shore. When he returned, drenched but triumphant, the old man smiled. True light leads even through the storm. Lesson 3, the light we find in darkness. For the final lesson, the old man handed Finn an unlit lantern. The last task, find light in darkness. Confused, Finn wandered the village at night. The moon was hidden behind thick clouds and the streets were eerily silent. As he passed a narrow alley, he heard quiet sniffles. A little girl sat curled against the wall, tears staining her cheeks. "I'm lost," she whispered. Finn knelt beside her. "It's dark," she added, shivering. "Then we'll find our own light," Finn said. He took her hand and walked her home. Though they had no lantern, he realized the warmth of his hand, The comfort of his voice and the kindness in his heart were enough to guide her. When he returned to the lighthouse, the old man's eyes shone with pride. "Now light the lantern." Finn hesitated but placed his hands around it. To his amazement, a warm glow ignited within, growing brighter and brighter until it illuminated the entire room. "The light was never just in the lantern, Finn," the old man said. "It was within you all along." The lantern's glow. That night, for the first time in years, the lighthouse shone once more. Not just for lost sailors, but for the village, the sea, and for Finn himself. As he stood atop the tower, watching the golden glow stretch across the horizon, he finally understood the old man's words. True light is shared, not kept. Courage shines brightest in the darkest moments. The greatest light comes from within. From that day on, Finn never feared the dark again, because he had learned to carry the light inside him.